Hello and welcome to Trails to Azure Part 40. Today is cleaning up the two gates and then doing quests that are left, which I think is basically just going to be the driving quest at the other gate and the main quest for this chapter, or the day. So, I have to talk to all these folks first and then continue the exploration. I imagine these guys don't know much to say. Just recently there was a bracer asking about some missing colleagues of his. I hope they're alright. It's a very... The accident off West Crossbell Highway was this close to spiraling into a massive scandal. If things hadn't been fixed up so quickly, the Empire and the Republic could have easily used it as an excuse to meddle in the referendum. Thank Eidos for that repair crew. Yeah, this whole setup is... this whole setup's kind of neat. Shouldn't the bus be here by now? That makes me question if maybe I should run back along to Crossbell in case the bus is stopped partway. Tangram Gate was also affected by the big derailment yesterday. We even needed to call in Republican tour buses to help with transportation. It was pretty troublesome. As if things weren't tense enough with the major powers. That accident couldn't have come at a worse time. Situation normal. Other than drizzling, of course. We won't let that rain on our parade. Don't quit your day job. What, huh? Wait a minute. That wasn't supposed to be a pun or anything. I was just trying to say that the weather wasn't going to dampen our spirits. Wait, no. It's okay. We understand. I thought those were pretty good, actually. That's funny. No one interesting here. Tomorrow's the big debut of Alcon Sales Revival Show. Sully couldn't have a ticket. Not interesting. I don't know. It'd be like... I don't know. It doesn't really pick up necessarily properly. I don't know. I don't know what whistle you would do for a good meal. A good meal goes down even greater after a hard day on the job. You never know what'll happen next. So I've got to make sure I'm never hungry and always ready. A colleague of mine who came from the Republic on a business trip was caught up in that train accident. I'm on my way to see him at the hospital. Thank the goddess his injuries weren't fatal. We had a lot of guests yesterday, with all the passengers from the derailment being rerouted here by bus. Most of them are gone by now, but it was rough while it lasted. He has nothing worth buying, right? Yeah. Tide-O plenty. Hot pot. I wonder why it has... Well, I think they're meant to be quotation marks. Though they are apostrophes in at least regular Canadian English. Achoo! It sure is chilly up here. The last thing I need is to catch a cold. Maybe I should take it easy for a bit. Our monitoring facility is getting a real workout today. It can be hard to keep watch with eyesight alone in weather like this, so having a radar comes in handy. It was damaged by the terrorists during the trade conference, but it's back up and running now. Interesting. Yeah, I'm still so confused if that's supposed to be Ilya, because it is so weird looking. Like that face, the neck is so weird. Like, that shape is just odd for a face. But it's low. I don't know. It's not a high detail image anyway, so it's fine, but... About yesterday's train accident. It happened right before the referendum. That makes me think that the Empire or the Republic could have been behind it. I know we don't have any solid proof right now, but but I can't help but be suspicious at a time like this. Yes, I've had who I'm pretty sure is the culprit spoiled accidentally once, so I kind of know. I'm pretty sure I know who it already is that did it, and I'll say nothing until it's revealed. Because I could be wrong, but the spoiler makes it kind of interesting. Ah, the SSS. I heard you did some impressive work yesterday at the scene of the train derailment. You should be thanking our leader here. The super sleuth extraordinaire does it again. Laying it on a little thick there, Randy. I wouldn't say he is, actually. Much as I'd like to take credit, I only ever drilled combat tactics into you during your time at the academy. Even so, as your former instructor, my chest swells with pride. You've become quite the detective, Lloyd. Not you too, Deputy Commander. There's still so much I have to learn before I can even begin to fill my brother's shoes. I've only made it this far, thanks to my teammates covering for my weaknesses. Crossbell's most modest man. Most modest man is a good sentence. Haha, he always was. Keep up the effort, and you're sure to continue climbing. I look forward to seeing just what kind of man you'll become, Lloyd. It's weird. So that's everything here. I'm going to do a real quick sprint back to Crossbell on the off chance there's some bus crash on the way back. Because sometimes the hints are that vague, and sometimes it's not a hint at all. What's this way? Oh yeah, Fisherman Guild. Like sometimes there's just an offhand comment from a random character. This is the only way to be like, oh, I should check this. Which is really what's going to make me, once I eventually get to Cold Steel, I'm going to probably go back to trying to follow a guide for like quests and stuff. Because I don't want to miss side quests. Like I've already totally lost any chance of doing the Nielsen side quests, which is a shame because he could be an interesting character. But instead all this playthrough will have is talking to him occasionally. And not even talking to him. It's mostly listening in on his conversations with others. All because every other time I've played it, like I checked the one place, it never mattered, so I stopped checking it. Yep, seems like there was indeed nothing. Which is not surprising. I fully expected there to be nothing here. I don't get why this can be done. If we can pull the car back here, why can't we pull the car wherever else we want? So, ooh, Mireille. Randy, Special Sports Section. Good morning, and thank you for coming. Oh, this is the road quest, okay. Happy to be here, Second Lieutenant. Thank you for all the hard work you put into the railway repair effort, by the way. Not at all. It's a relief that we were able to get it all cleaned up. That said, we never did manage to track down that big monster, that giant monster. I've ordered several units to patrol around the state today, but I'd be surprised if we caught wind of it. It's cool. We all know fixing up the rails was the bigger priority. I think it's fine to forget about the big and brawny and focus on the task at hand. I suppose you're right. Speaking of which, we came to learn more about the request you submitted. Not to rush, but would you mind explaining the details to us? Of course. We've had a reckless vehicle menacing the West Crossbell Highway recently. It's been causing trouble for Airbonian travelers and bus services. I'd like you to help us put a stop to it. Reckless driving? This sounds familiar. Could it be the same group of young men that we stopped in the city a while ago? Do you mean the so-called high bloods? That does sound like them. Our failure to maintain public order is being called into question by the Empire and the Republic already, except this one's 100% the Republic's fault, or the Empire's fault, I can't remember which they're from. If this negligent driving were to injure a foreigner, we could end up with another international incident on our hand, except for the fact that it's a foreigner causing the issue, and we can't do anything to stop the foreigners. I mean, they'd still raise complaints, but they would be like, well, we can't do anything because you guys prevent us from doing anything. Boom, boom, easy. Yesterday's derailment isn't helping matters either. You're saying that Crossbow's in a precarious position right now. Sorry, I'm just frustrated by like, oh, it's a precarious position. Like, no, really? You're shocked. Correct. As far as this matter is concerned, we're cooperating with the Metropolitan Division to catch the perpetrators. As the car is often seen on the highway nearby, I thought it only fitting that the Bellegarde unit help with the arrest. Sounds good to me. Do you happen to have a plan in mind? Yes. The reckless car has a regular route. It comes down West Crossbell Highway before turning around at Bellegarde Gate. You'll be conducting a stakeout here. Once the car makes its approach, I want you to pursue it in your own vehicle. Car chase. At that point, I'll alert the Metropolitan Division and have them stand by at the city's west exit. A pincer attack. Exactly. Can I count on your help? I do kind of hope they spin out. Of course you can. We'd be happy to accept the request. Thank you, SSS. This will be a lot easier with you on board. I'll contact the Metropolitan Division so we can officially get started. We should take our places in that case. Yeah, let's grab our wheels and get ready for a chase. Good thinking. We'll be counting on you to do your thing when the time comes, Noel. You've got it. Oh, what a weird quest. Why are we not in the car? We could see the car coming from in the car. Stay in the car. When they get here, peel out. No sign of that crazy car yet, huh? We sure it's even coming? We'll just have to wait and see. Its route is supposed to run along the West Crossbell Highway. That's the reason Officer Kate and the Metropolitan Division haven't been able to catch it on their own. The CPD's jurisdiction is generally confined to within city limits. Why? So it's up to the wily band of misfits to save the day once again. An astute summation. Whether they're inside the city or not, we can't let them put civilians or their poor car in danger any longer. One way or another, we're going to put a stop to this. Haha, that's the spirit. Wait, that sounds like... What the? Ah! Shoot their tires out. Bang, bang. They can't drive anymore. Hey, watch it. Stupid bus almost ran into us. Well, why don't they have, like, spike strips or something? Like, that wouldn't be that difficult to physically build. It is the High Bloods. We were right. Alright, everyone. It's go time. Intense Chase is the name of the song. You give chase. I'll get in touch with the Metropolitan Division. Understood. Noel, I'll call the shots. You just focus on driving. Oh, that means there's specific choices that will be the right choices. I hate it. Yes, sir. If she can get in, everyone else could get in. Why does she have to pull forward? Oh, because we have to get in on the left side, despite the fact there's plenty of space to get in on the right, seemingly. Because it opens the entire side, whatever. You know what will make this slow car chase faster? Beat up. It's almost an intense car chase, except then they do this. Who the heck are these guys? Haha, let's give them a little scare. We're gonna run right into them. Change course and dodge, because emergency brakes would just slide into them, right? If hit the emergency brake is the correct choice, they don't know driving. Let's change course, Noel. Right. Gotcha. What? Damn idiots, they're out of control. Still. That's false. The correct choice if you're going to run into something, if you have space to steer, is you slow down and you steer. You don't just full stop brake. I'm just going to follow a guide for this. I don't want the complaints from bad driving. Because like, it's rainy. They were moving quickly. Oh, I have to redo all the talking. Like, if you're driving, it's better to steer around something than to just slam your brakes on. Because even with like anti-lock braking, you'll still skid out a bunch. I'm just talking to them in case it triggers anything. I don't think it does, but even if, like, we were moving at high speed, it's rainy, realistically we would have rammed into them. But instead the story they're going with is bad writing, so. Though it is also worth considering that these cars go at a question mark speed. So it could be that every car can only go like 8 miles an hour, or 8 kilometers an hour even. At which speeds they could definitely stop. But sadly, this game doesn't do a good job of communicating speeds. And then I ran all the way back and there was nothing there. Well, I don't care. I feel like most of the answers are going to be kind of bad answers, because steering around is the right choice. Steer in front of them even. Like, if instead of steering behind them, we steered in front of them, we would have blocked them for a second. It wouldn't have been difficult. I'm just complaining about how they're handling it. It's a little bit overly negative probably, but I still think it's poorly written. Because yeah, look at this. Hitting the emergency brakes, we would run into them. Yeah, what kind of like stop was that? What? They moved? Shocking. Like, what is this writing? Still, as long as we're in this baby, we can close the gap in no time. I don't think it's well written. Right. No, keep up the pursuit and don't let them get away. Roger. I'm looking at this guide here. There is actually another day. So, there's a day 4 in this chapter still. Shh, they're still after this. Ah, piece of cake. They're gonna get away at this rate. None of this makes any sense, because the speed they're going, if they could stop before hitting the car, this is not a dangerous turn in the slightest. This is not well written within the framing. Like, reduce speed through the curve would never be the right choice, because they can stop on a dime, even though it's raining. It's just not logical. You took that curve at an impressive speed, despite the unfavorable driving conditions. Like, and this is after she stopped in less than a couple meters. Like, the conditions aren't that unfavorable, or they're not moving that fast. It's not well written. Tio's right. Don't you think it's a little dangerous barreling down the road in the rain like this? Heh, it's gonna take more than a little drizzle to slow these treads. There's not a runaway vehicle in Crossbell that can outrun Noel Seeker. You do remember this is a pursuit and not a race, right? And we also don't need to keep up with it, we just need to herd it towards the city. Anyway, let's close the gap. This is not well written, in my opinion. They're not half bad. Yeah. All we have to do is keep this up, and the Metropolitan Division's pincer attack at the west exit should go as planned. Yes. They're not half bad, driving on a completely normal road. Wait. Something's wrong. What's going on with their car? Huh? Let them crash. Yikes. They're losing control of the vehicle. What should we do? At this rate, there could be a serious accident. I kind of wish rear-ending actually resulted in, like, casualties, but why would it? It's not a good quest. Perfect, into the lake. I don't know why that went that way, but I mean, their car's dead forever, right? Pant, pant. They say standing in chest height water. Are we alive? I thought it was a gunner. Phew, they don't seem hurt, at least. Maybe pulling ahead of them wasn't the right move after all. No, I think it was. Things could have gone a lot worse than they did. Moreover, they turned the steering wheel of their own accord. They have no one to blame but themselves. On the bright side, our car managed to avoid sustaining any damage. A little water never hurt anyone. They should be glad that they're still in one piece. Lucky that they didn't have to... Luck like that would be useful in the casino. Too bad they're going to jail instead for all of 2 days because the legal system is questionable. Well, there's only one thing left to do. Let's report this to 2nd Lieutenant Mireille and the Metropolitan Division. I'm glad their car got ruined, because I don't think you can salvage a car that goes that deep into water. Or maybe you can. Well, if it isn't the High Bloods, you're a long way from the residential district. You're also under arrest for speeding, among various other charges. Achoo. I think we can consider this case closed. Good work, everybody. We wouldn't have been able to catch them without your help. And we wouldn't have made this arrest at all without your cooperation, 2nd Lieutenant Mireille. I'm sure tensions on the border have you busier than ever, so allow me to express my gratitude on behalf of the Metropolitan Division. Likewise, Officer Kate. This is one less thing for the CGF to worry about. As for you, SSS, I'm in your debt once again. Aw, don't even mention it. I've been wondering, Noelle, Tio, do you have any idea what happened to their car back there? Well, it was raining. Wouldn't it spin out fairly normally in rain? And they're bad drivers, so brake failure. That's the main reason they lost control like that. I don't think that makes sense. Like, I guess if they were trying to slow down, but these fools wouldn't brake. They're not good enough drivers for that. From what I can tell, they've been sloppy with keeping this poor car maintained. Wait, weren't you supposed to be taking care of that, Reggie? Oh yeah, I knew there was something I've been forgetting about to do recently. Additionally, the orbital engine has been shorted out completely because it ran into water. I estimate that it would cost just as much to fix it as it would to simply purchase a new one. That's odd. Like, conceptually. Like, wouldn't it be cheaper to have the engine fully replaced than to buy a new car? Not much cheaper. Because, like, these cars run on magic. Maybe they don't. Maybe they've decided to make it so that the orbital stuff is more complicated than just orbments, but I hate to see a good car go to waste. But at this point, we might have to scrap the whole thing. It's not your choice. It's their car. They choose to scrap it or not, even if they are criminals. You're kidding me. No way. Yuri had to pull a ton of strings with the Vern company to get to the latest model, too. Oh, please. A totaled car or two is pocket change to me. We can just go to the Orbital Star and buy another one. Hells yeah, you're the best, Yuri. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go pick something out right now. Hold on just a second. Are you forgetting that you're under arrest for speeding on a public highway? You realize that's going to come with a serious penalty. Oh, a penalty. How terrifying. We're foreigners. Do you really think you'd be able to do much to us with those flimsy laws of yours? At most, we'll just have to pay a small fine before walking away scot-free, just like last time. Here we go again. Haha, you know it. We've got places to be and things to do, too, you know? And I'm sure it would be a pain to take us all the way to the station. So find me whatever you like, and I'll cut you a check here and now. That way, it's a win-win for all of us, no? Heh, you're a genius, Yuri. You three can't be serious. This is poorly written, as always. As nauseating as it is to admit, their bravado is not misplaced. No, that's not going to happen. Huh? You should read the Crossbow Times more often. State laws have been going through a lot of changes since Mayor Qua took office. In fact, just the other day, a major part of the legal code was amended. As it just so happens, penalties for criminal acts perpetrated by foreigners have been strengthened. What was that? That's right. Based on the charges, you three are looking at a 1-month suspension to your driver's license. That's still such a weak, unless they're gonna list a bunch of other stuff afterwards, but how's that that's such a weak punishment. It should straight up be something like a year's suspension within the bounds of Crossbell. They can't drive in Crossbell for a year or something like that. It should be something more than that. How's that for a punishment? A whole month? 30 days? So you mean even if we bought a new car, we wouldn't even be able to drive it? We may have gone too far in a few places. You don't know who you're messing with. What grounds do you have to suspend my driver's license? What right do you puny cops from the puny autonomous state have to punish me? Why you? It's not well written. Ha, that's right. You must be pulling our legs. There's no way they'd give Crossbell police that much power. Hey, Yuri, Sykes, I don't think they're... Shut it, Reggie. Can't you see they're trying to spoil our whole trip? If this is how you want to play it, I'll just have my dad use his influence to pressure your government. Give it up already. This is not well written. This is about more than how light or harsh your punishment is. You're acting like your mortal lives are in danger. I can tell you who does know how that feels. All the innocent bystanders you terrified with your reckless driving. Did you ever stop to think about that? Why would they? They're just spoiled brat characters. That's all they are. What the hell got into her? So what if some commoners got scared of us having some harmless fun? It's only a car. What's the worst that could... What? Are you trying to say you never saw the danger in what you were doing? Even during today's incident, you could have lost your lives if the SSS hadn't intervened. I mean, yeah, I thought I was done for when we plunged into that pond. You can't be serious. There's no way anything could happen to us. You think you're an exception? Anyone could die in a car crash. Anyone. Unsuspecting victims end up caught up in crimes and accidents they did nothing to deserve all the time. I'm a police officer. This is my job. I see it happen every single day. Doubtful. Probably a few times a week. Your reckless driving has instilled more fear in the people around you than you can imagine. And yet you have the nerve to tell me it was all just harmless fun? The fact that you keep doing this proves you have absolutely zero regard for the physical or mental well-being of others. Hi, Bloods, you think you're noble? What a sick joke. This is not well written. Because it's just a case of preaching to the choir. I imagine just about anyone who plays any games that isn't a completely unreasonable individual is obviously aware that driving recklessly is stupid. Like, it's like, oh yeah. It's just they put characters in who are comic level miscreants and then use it as a way to be like, drive safely. Like, there's no like anything. Don't you three have any shame? Well, like, if they were realistic idiot characters who genuinely, it seems, were misguided but not just cocky, it would be more impactful. But these guys are so cocky. There's no reason anyone would be this confident in, oh, a car can't hurt people. Like, no living human being, even the craziest driver would just say, oh, I'm a safe driver, even though they drive incredibly dangerously. That's how they would react, I believe. No one would be like, oh, a car can't hurt people. Like, that doesn't make sense. And so having the moral high ground against people who are that low doesn't matter. Like, you would have it by default if you just said, drive safe. Like, it's just not fun. This quest is kind of, as I said, it's just preaching to the choir of, yeah, just be a normal person and not a comic book miscreant. Why are you overreacting, Lloyd? Why say Kate? Enough of this. You're coming with me to headquarters whether you like it or not. You'll have plenty of time to reflect on this when you're stuck at home for a month without your licenses. That's all I have to say. Now hurry up and get your butts in the patrol car before I get really mad. Hey, Yuri, Sykes. Yeah, we really screwed up this time. Whatever. It's just not an interesting progress. Like, yes, they're gonna learn now, but like, why do they learn? What the? Yuri? Wait for us. Like, if they'd gotten into a serious accident and injured themselves and learned from that, it would make sense. But why would her yelling at them change their completely baseless confidence? Like, it's just weird. Looks like she got through to them after all. Like, one of them should be injured. Minor. Just very minor injury. Like, Yuri broke a finger. That would be all it would need to feel a little more like, okay, he's a flimsy individual who's never had any consequences. Being yelled at is a consequence, but like, it feels like something that directly impacts him would make more sense as something to cause him to realize he was stupid. Instead, just being yelled at by a stranger is all it took. I would hope so. I've never seen Officer Cake get so animated. I'm sure they're not used to being yelled at like that. Hopefully they take something away from it. Thank you again, SSS. You as well, Second Lieutenant. Anytime, Kate. In a way, tailing them was fun enough to be its own reward. I've always wanted to be in a real-life car chase. Except cars have only existed for a few years. So it's like, there's no reason that this guy would be like, I always wanted to be in a real life car chase when cars have only been around for a few years. And by extension, car chases would have only been around for a few years. And I don't even know if movies or TV exist. So the concept of a car chase wouldn't be widespread. Fun is not the word I would use. Officer Kate, I want you to know that your word struck a chord with me too. Why though? I'll give it my all to keep Crossbell safe, and you'll do the same, I'm sure. Without a doubt. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have 3 hoodlums to take to the station. Alright. We'll need to have that orbital car towed out and dropped out off at the impound. Mind giving me a hand? We're here, so might as well. We don't mind at all. How'd they get it out of the lake thing? Like, Lloyd and the others then helped the CGF haul away the High-Blood's car. Afterwards, they returned to Belgrade Gate to resume their usual activities. Driven to the brink. Not a good quest, I will say. I don't like that quest. I don't think it was well written, personally. Thanks, you were able to stop them. Because, like... Okay. Ooh. Because even from the get-go, the first decision of brake instead of carefully steer around is just not the correct choice, I'm pretty sure. Like, now, this is stemming from a TV show that was actually about teaching drivers, but it was like, it very regularly had lessons for bad drivers of when you're about to run into something, don't just brake. You brake a bit, and then you steer around it. You don't just brake. And what they did was just brake in the rain. Like, it's just not the correct choice. I swear, those kids were such a nuisance. But I've got to stop thinking about them and focus on work. Yeah, I just don't think that entire thing was just questionable writing. I heard you guys caught that reckless car a little while ago. That gives us one less thing to worry about. Thanks, SSS. Because, like, the thing is, other than, like, none of the choices were good choices. They wanted to make it so, oh, you have to make decisions, but the first decision, I think their choice that was, oh, the correct decision is brake, is not what would be the correct decision in reality, I'm pretty sure. Like, pulling in front of them, like, slowing down, pulling in front would have been better, probably. So, turning, avoiding them would be better. The second decision making was let Noelle drive or tell her to slow down when it was established in the first interaction that the car can stop basically on a dime. It can stop within a matter of meters. So going around that corner, not dangerous at all. There's nothing dangerous about that. But they want it to appear dangerous for some reason, despite the fact that it's inconsistent with everything established. And then the third decision, rear end them. How does rear ending a car stop it from going forward? It just pushes it. Now, if you rear end it and crumple your fender into the back of the car and then brake, maybe, but it's kind of weak. But I'm gonna try to move on from what I feel was poorly written quest. I'm so worn out from working on the repairs last night. Maybe I should catch a nap while I can. You never know what might happen in a state of high alert like this. Harold. Thank you for solving that case in Armorica yesterday. If it weren't for you, I'm not sure what would have happened. Minna certainly didn't make it easy for us. He was much more slipperier than we expected. Wouldn't you just say much slipperier? Much more slippery than we expected? Much slipperier than we expected? Now that he is wanted, however, they should be able to apprehend him in due time. You think so? He looked like a gratingly persistent type to me. Yeah, that phony is going to be a menace till the second he's finally behind bars. You're probably right. I only hope he doesn't cause any more damage before then. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to try to finish this day, because apparently there's 4 days. Second Lieutenant Murray's unit ran into a giant monster yesterday. Thing's still on the loose, so she's deployed a company to search the state for it. Jeez. As if we didn't already have enough on our plates with all this international friction. I was on the train yesterday when it flew off the rails. Thankfully, my injuries are light, so I called my daughter to come pick me up. It doesn't mean I'm not still sore, though. Father, are you alright? Why don't we go and rest in the mess hall for a while? It's weird that they, like, I don't know. These seem like rich folks. It's interesting that they decided to take a train instead of drive, and then they got picked up by their daughter in a car instead of taking a train back. I understand not taking a train back. That part makes sense. But he's rich. His daughter's rich, presumably. They have cars. He could have just driven. I understand taking a train over driving in some cases, but the sense of distance in this world is not well established. For some reason, I've been feeling on top of my game ever since I ate Stella's extra spicy soup yesterday. Hehe, this must be the power of love. Did she dope it? But man, love really hurts when you digest it. Did she dope the soup? It's an awful day to be posted outside. I feel bad for all those rain-soaked guardsmen. What they need is a nice hot meal to warm them up. Oh, maybe I'll use that super spicy soup I made for Kless as a base for some hot pot. Oh, that would be delicious. Like a nice spicy hot pot. Ooh. It just had to rain today, didn't it? Perhaps I should have taken a train after all. Though in my defense, I was in no rush to board one after that horrible accident. Well, I heard all about yesterday's train accident. They were saying a giant monster struck the locomotive and caused it to derail. The train was made by a famous Imperial arms manufacturer called the Rhineford Company, so it should have been pretty durable plating. That gives me an idea of just how terrifying that monster must have been, even if I didn't see it myself. Time to explore this place, and then I'm donezo. Finish the quest for today, hopefully. So yeah, that's Rixia. Those faces still look so weird. Mireille is outside. Skip Bales. You put on quite the show yesterday, Detective Bannings. Pardon? Are you referring to our investigation at the scene of the train accident? Had we rushed the repairs, we never may have learned the truth of what transpired. That miscalculation would have been no one's fault but my own. I was far too impatient on my part. You merely acted in the best interest of the CGF. Yeah, plus, you guys practically raced to fix things up afterward. All in all, I'd say both sides did a bang-up job. Nothing to get depressed about. They're right, Commander. You all give me far too much credit. At any rate, allow me to thank you once more for your efforts, SSS. I'll talk again briefly. Okay, I'm done here. I didn't go up yet. Even a light drizzle can impede your range of vision. That's not ideal, given all the eyewitness reports about those cryptids. I'd better keep my eyes peeled too. Yes, there's so much to see this way. A canyon to the left, a canyon to the right, and a road in the center. It's oh so difficult. The train derailment yesterday was just awful. If the culprit really was a giant monster, what's to stop it from causing something like that again? If you ask me, I think we should be deployed on a search and destroy mission for that thing. I think the CGF would lose. Oh yeah, I was thinking about the whole Wald thing. I really don't like if Wald was given the regular version of Gnosis. I don't think it makes sense for him to be in control. There's no justification that Wald, the man-child character, would have better control over himself than Joachim Gunter or literally anyone else that consumed Gnosis. The fact that he got angry and got drunk for days because his good rival character who he's obsessed with left to join the police, he doesn't have enough internal control. Unless there is a justification that it was a different version of Gnosis or something else was applied to him to keep him under control, I will complain about the fact that he is under control and the reasonably competent Joachim Günther was not under control. If they don't justify him having control, it's going to be bad writing, in my opinion, because he is not competent enough to be to keep himself under control. Now, if they justify it as, if you consume Gnosis with pure intentions, like, oh, I need to get my rival back, I want to keep fighting him, that's a relatively pure intention compared to, I kind of want to take over the world. If they justify it that way, that would be fine. But if the only justification they have is, oh, Wald's just better than Joachim, that's not well written. That's not well handled. I hope they justify it well. Here we are. I wonder where we can find Chief Roberts. Upstairs in the Foundation's branch office, most likely. I will call him on his Enigma. So we're getting Chief Roberts because we're tracking the enigmas of the 2 missing bracers. Hello, this is Tio. No, that isn't the reason. Do not make me hang up this call. Is he giving him a death glare through the phone? That poor man. Tio's going to freeze him cold one of these days. I don't know. Something tells me the guy's kinda into it. Yes, I'm calling with the Enigma 2's emergency SOS function. Why would he know that? Yes, correct. Okay, we'll be waiting for you downstairs. Is he willing to help us? Yes. He should be here momentarily. Jonah is with him as well. Oh? He's the kid that was... I understand that if you pass several years between playing these games, it would be reasonable to reintroduce Jonah. And I guess, but like, we've met Jonah in this game already. It was briefly, and it was a side visit when he was being fed food that he didn't like. But like, account for that instead of having to reintroduce him here. He's the kid that was using the room in the Geofront, right? The one that exploded? Ah, the hacker extraordinaire from the Epstein Foundation. That's the one. He likes to act like he's hot shit, but he's kind of just a little shit. He's been staying with the Foundation now that his base was destroyed, huh? Yes. Though he still had a fit over it. Well, actually, he was staying with the Foundation prior to the base being exploded, because he shouldn't be in the base to begin with. Okay, now I get what's going on. Don't make us deal with Jonah. You can't contact them? That's it? Their enigmas probably just ran out of juice or something. Why would we care anyway? It's not my fault those goody two-shoes don't know how to keep their stuff charged. Jonah, get out. We literally did not come here to talk to you. Can you even hear yourself right now? You really shouldn't say things like that, Jonah. It isn't very nice. Excuse him. He's been like this a lot recently. Which I don't understand. I've done all I can to make him comfortable, including letting him use the most powerful terminal in the building. Man, who cares what the specs are? It's never going to be fun with all the stupid security you've got on it. Give me the access codes and set me free already. Like, we don't need this interaction. Like, it's going to be set up for the future. He's going to be like, oh, give me the access codes and I'll be able to do this. Like, it's all just set up, but it's boring setup. No, can do, Jonah. You know that. If I gave you a rega, you'd take it all the way into the depths of cyberspace. So instead, I've been working on a special Palm Party. Kill me. I don't care about Palm Party. I've been working on a special Palm Party training program you can use until you're finally ready to beat Tio. I can beat her myself, you old fart. Turns out he's doing a pretty good job. He's doing a pretty good job keeping Jonah on a leash. The Chief's fatherly tendencies can come in handy, even if they usually get on my nerves. Okay, back to business. It is true that the Enigma 2 has an SOS function, but I don't know if it'll be useful. Aeon system. You don't? But why would it not be? It's for emergencies, isn't it? We already established that it was too weak to do anything. It's already been stated by Tio that it's garbage. It doesn't have high range. It doesn't do a lot. That was already established. Well, you see, while it does produce an orbital signal, it's far from the strongest one imaginable. This is poorly written. We already had this explained to us by Tio. This is not something new. And if I was playing through this and I didn't go do a quest in the middle, if I'd gone straight from the Bracer Guild to here, I would have heard this twice in 10 minutes. Like, write better. Don't repeat the same thing right away. Quite the opposite, in fact. It's impossible to detect unless you're within 10 Selga of the orbment, no matter what equipment you use. Just 10 Selga? That doesn't give us a lot to work with. We'd only be able to catch them from here if they were in Crossbell city limits. What if you combine the detection apparatus with my sensors? Yeah, Aeon system. If the system has been matricized, it should be able to sync with the Aeon system. Well, sure, that could... Wait, no. The detection apparatus's margin of accuracy is too low for the Aeon system to utilize. You'd also have to account for the orbital pressure, not to mention the surrounding terrain. It's near impossible if you ask me. Or make the impossible possible. I suppose that's true. I don't think I really get the issue here, but I guess I'll just take your word for it. Then there really isn't a simple solution. And then Jonah, Master Hacker, is going to solve the problem. Hold up. Why not just take the reading from the roof of Orcus Tower? What? Jonah? What do you mean? What do you mean, what do you mean? Oh, this high point that won't be blocked by other surfaces that lets the signals have a cleaner path is a good point to look from? Wow. Think about it. The SOS waves are so weak you can't even detect them unless your equipment's ready, nearby. You could use TO sensors to increase the output, but even if it works, which I doubt, it'd be too inaccurate to be useful. So, what if you use the top of Orcus Tower? There'd be less interference to account for. It'll be a lot more accurate, wouldn't it? Anyone actually... I'm done. I'm not continuing this quest after because this writing is so... I understand that the basic concept of radio waves doesn't exist in this world, but like, oh, waves pass through stuff and it's harder to pick up than waves pass through air? So complex. Anyone actually following this? Well, would that work, Tio? Color me surprised. A marvelous idea, Jonah. At least the technologically minded people are able to understand. That's their little systems engineer whiz. Because systems engineers are experts on how waves travel through air. Totally. Haha. Who do you think I am? They don't call me a genius for nothing. So, we're good to go? I take it you figured things out? Oh, this writing is bad. Yes, this just might work. I'll head to the Orcus Tower and ask the management for permission to use the roof. You'll come lend a hand too, won't you, Jonah? Why should I? Actually, I'm bored out of my mind here, so why not? But you guys owe me one, alright? Sure, that's fine. As long as it's illegal or overly unreasonable, we'll be happy to repay the favor. I'm donezo if possible. They got permission to set up equipment, as it would take some time before the search was ready to be conducted. The SSS decided to finish any outstanding business before heading over. Oh yes, we totally... what is my... I'm gonna stop here because the story is driving me insane. I just don't like the writing for this segment. And it's not the overall story's direction that I don't like. It's the specifics that don't make sense, in my opinion. I decided she needs another slot. I could actually max hers out, but she's lowest priority. One left for her. None that I can get there, because there's too many. Two more for them. And I'll stop there. I'm not going to grind for any more Mira. I'm stopping here because the writing's bugging me too much. The overall direction of the writing's fine, the setups are fine, but the specifics are just so... like... I really think in these scenes where, oh, we don't understand what's happening, the characters should just stay quiet. They should be like, I don't know what's happening, and I'll stay out of it, and trust that they know what they're doing. Instead of, what does this mean? I don't understand. Like, we know you don't understand. You're a nobody. You don't know technology. It's just, and the fact that it's like, oh, they use that on basic things. Like, oh, wait, like, it's understandable that in the story world, people wouldn't understand that, like, orbital waves and emission waves have, it's reasonable-ish that they don't understand that waves passing through stuff are less clear than waves not passing through stuff. Well, it's all passing through stuff. It's passing through air instead of solid material, but it's like, I imagine most people on Earth, real world, playing the game would understand that, hey, stuff passing through solid material is less, like, it has a harder time to pass through solid material than passing through air. So, like, you don't need a stand-in that doesn't understand that basic idea. And, like, stuff like that is driving me insane. Like, I think the driving thing was questionably written, because braking and pulling in front of them would be the better call there. Like, slowing down a bit, pulling in front would be the correct choice, as opposed to just braking in a scenario that would lead to you running into them. They might not have been able to pull in front because of angles and stuff, but, like, braking is not the correct choice there, because physically, in reality, they wouldn't be able to stop. It's just not. The specifics of the writing bugs me a lot, and I'm going to stop here because I don't want to continue right now, because it has, I'll say tilted. Tilted is a good word. It's a great way to just be like, it bugged me, and I don't want to continue reading any more of it right now. So I'm stopping. Bye-bye.